and welcome to Internet Safety Day. We love our technology, don't we? Yeah. And that's what we're here to talk to you a little bit about today. You know, and really, as we connect with our technologies and we connect with the people around us, we are part of this world of being citizens. And you hear people talk all the time about digital citizenship. Well, digital citizenship and citizenship are really one and the same. As you're finding out, your world online blends with your world in real life. What affects you online affects you in real life, and what affects you in real life can affect what you do online. And we're here today to talk a little bit about things like being safe online, cyber safety, how to use some of those apps on your phone so that you know that your privacy settings are set the way that you want. Saw a really interesting movie last night, Snowden. How many of you have seen that one? Okay. That will really open your eyes to what you might want to be thinking about when you are interacting in that online world. You'll also be exposed today to thinking about how you approach different situations online. And we are blessed to have, for the third time, Miss Rachel is out here. She has over 10 years of experience in the high-tech industry, and she's co-founder of PitayaLife, which is a company that works with organizations to help them develop their organization to be more productive, and to also maintain a real balance between how they work with their employees, they work with the people in both online and offline situations. After the presentation, our high schoolers are going to return back to their regular day, and then middle schoolers, you're going to get a chance to kind of go deeper into some of the things that Miss Rachel talks about. We're going to do some small group discussions back in your homeroom, and you'll hear more about that at the end of the presentation. So without any further ado, I'm going to have Miss Rachel take the floor here. Let's give her a round of applause and welcome her back.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian. And thank you to all of you for getting here so early in the morning, bright-eyed. My name is Rachel, and I have a technology company in Tel Aviv. I'm originally from the United States, and I moved here a few years ago and jumped right into the tech world because I love it and it's interesting. And I just want to understand from all of you how clued in you really are to the internet. So let's have a raise of hands about who this morning has looked at Instagram. Woo! A lot. Good. I have a good crowd here. How about one more? Who in this audience has opened up Snapchat? Even more. Great. I have a very well-educated audience here. How about, do we have any gamers here? Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Pokemon Go. Okay. Anything else? Great. All right. Fantastic. Shh. All right, good. So I know that you're all excited about the topic because this is what we're going to talk about today. Let's end the conversations for just a few minutes, 25 minutes. What we're going to talk about today is the internet, using it in a fun way, in a great way, in a safe way, and all the things that I mentioned, as well as any other apps, any other websites that you all go to on a daily basis or even less frequently, that's all the internet. And you're all growing up in a world where that is sort of your first point of contact, maybe even the first thing you look at in the morning. You look at it during the day. You engage with people, your friends, your family, constantly through the internet. So it's pretty awesome, and it's something that's always developing. But what we're going to talk about today is the difference and the way, who knows what this is up here? Pokemon Go, yes. All right, shh. So one thing, I see you're all like very into this internet topic. This is great. This is good. So, shh. Shh, shh, shh. Thank you. All right. So one of the things that we're going to talk about first and foremost is the difference between our virtual worlds and our real world. So there are a lot of technologies coming out now, like this kind of a game, like VR, virtual reality, augmented reality. Technology is booming and moving really fast. I've seen some really interesting things in the tech space that are probably going to affect all of your lives within the next year, within the next couple of years. Tech is getting better and better. And what is it doing? It's drawing us in. It's creating a new world, and it's actually connecting with the worlds that we have and the worlds that we're in. So there are certain technologies, such as games and such as different social medias, that bring us in, and that we're looking in our phone, and we're sort of in real life, but we're sort of in our phone, and our friends are on our phone, and our friends are in real life, and the difference is pretty gray, right, between what's real, what's actually around us. So one of the things that we're going to speak about in the beginning is how to remember that we're actually in this physical world, and the digital world is separate. The digital world is something different. So this might have happened to some of you. I definitely know it's happened to me. I was on WhatsApp with a friend, and I was texting, and I didn't look anywhere where I was looking, and I sort of fell into a little pothole. So relatively dangerous. But something else that might happen, it's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to all of you, is that I was looking at some messages in my Snapchat, and I didn't hear what somebody was saying to me. A friend of mine was talking. We were out. We were having a really fun brunch, and she started talking to me, and I was just looking at some messages, and I actually couldn't hear her. So that's something that's really important to remember when we're looking at our messages, when we're looking at the things that our friends or our families or even people we see online are sending to us. It's important to remember that there's also our friends in real life. And it's also very important to pay attention to them as well. And remember that there's a difference between what's happening online on our phones and what's happening in real life. So here's a short little video that I want to show you that might ring a few bells. Hopefully it loads. If it doesn't, no problem. No. Okay. It's gonna load? I don't know. We'll skip it. We'll skip it. No. Sorry, it's okay. It's basically what happens in the video is that there are people that are sort of looking at their phones, and what happens? They're at a baseball game and they get hit in the head with a baseball. Somebody is riding a roller coaster, and instead of actually enjoying the roller coaster, he's looking at Instagram. He's sort of scrolling. There's somebody else that's walking on a street and he bumps into somebody. So this is something that's really, really quite common, and we have to remember, all of us, that when we're engaging with our phones, when we're interacting, there's also a real world around us that we have to pay attention to as well. One of the best things and the most fun things, in my opinion, about the internet these days is that you can share a lot without even having to necessarily type, right? You can share pictures, you can share videos, and it's really easy to see and sort of affect your whole community, all your friends, by these pictures. But something that's really, really important to remember is that every time we send a picture, we lose control, even if we think we have control, because the internet has a memory that's way longer than all of us in this room. What that means is if you upload a picture, a selfie, pictures of your friends, pictures at a party, and maybe you realize a little bit later, oof, you know, I don't really want my mom to see that. I don't really want my teachers to see that. Even if you take it down, there's a high probability that somebody else might have that picture. So there's a story that happened in my hometown about a very cool guy, and he put up some pictures of himself at a party, and other friends posted pictures. It was on Snapchat, it was on Instagram, it was also on Facebook, and somebody in the class saw those pictures, and it was a party on a night that nobody should have been out. Big, big, big test the next day, and the next day, that guy didn't show up to class. He was really tired. He had gone out to the party way too late. And somebody who actually was kind of jealous of him because he was on the sports teams and he was really popular, went and took those pictures and sent it to his teacher. And he got in a lot of trouble. Now, on that note, what this story is trying to tell all of you is that no matter how you send these pictures online, how you upload them, where you upload them, there's still a chance that it can be shared or seen by somebody that we don't even know, by somebody that we didn't want to share it with. So every time you're going to send something, what we want to remember here is just to think before you send. So it's really easy not to think before you send because you're immediately sending these snaps and you're sending and uploading things. But even though things happen very, very quickly online and on our phones, it's still really important to take a minute, look at what we're sending and think, would this be cool for everybody I know to see? Everybody who I care about, even people who I don't know to see? And if the answer is no, then it's best not to send it and not to post those pictures. The same sort of things also goes for selfies, right? So if we're sending pictures of ourselves to other people, and they're pictures that we really want to remain private, maybe something to a friend, to a girlfriend, to a boyfriend, it's really important to remember that this might get into the wrong hands. Who's lost their phone before? Because I certainly have. Ooh, a lot. So lost or stolen or left it somewhere. Shh. It's good, you're a very involved audience. So when this happens, it means that someone else can get access to a phone that you're sending to. So if you think you're sending something that's private, first of all, the internet never forgets. Even if it's Snapchat, there are plenty of things that can happen for these pictures not to disappear. But there's also a chance that someone that we might not want to see something we send actually sees it. So again, think for a minute, take a pause, take a breather before you send. So this is also about Snapchat, what we were talking about. There are ways that I'm sure all of you know, but you can change your privacy settings in Snapchat to be only friends, only people that we know. And also there are ways that we can also increase the privacy levels of who we're sending to, who we're sharing our stories with, our videos, and everything like that. So because all of you have probably a pretty good group of friends here, it seems pretty easy and pretty simple to share things that only our friends are going to see. But there are also outsiders and people that are on all of these platforms that are just looking to look into somebody else's life. And we don't know who these people are necessarily. Now, talking about that, there actually is a story that happened to my sister on Instagram. So many times people have open Instagram feeds, so anybody can see them. We recommend that it's private, so that only your friends can see it. But what's really popular now is that some people have an open Instagram and a private Instagram. So my open Instagram is all my beautiful pictures and pictures of food and pictures of, I don't know, nature. And my private Instagram is something that's really, really personal. Something that I don't want everybody to see. So my sister, who's about your age, She has a private Instagram of something that she only lets people who she's very close with see. And somebody was looking at Instagram on their friend's phone. So they saw this picture that she really didn't want the whole world to know about. It was something private. And he took a picture, a sort of a screenshot on the phone, and he called her. And he basically started screaming at her through the phone about, how could you post this thing? How could you think these things? Why are you acting in this way? This person that she doesn't even know, she thought that only her friends were going to see all of these messages and things she was typing and pictures she was posting. So it's another way that we have to remember that even when we think, even when we set up a private setting in all of our social channels, it doesn't matter what apps we're talking about now. I'm mentioning Instagram, but the case goes for everything. The internet will remember, and people will get access to the information that you're uploading, the stories, the videos, the pictures, people that you don't know, and people who may not be your friends. So again, it's really important to think for a minute before you upload something, just so that we remember that anything that we're putting up online is something that can be seen by someone who may not have the best intentions. So you can check, there's a few little tips here. You can check if you're in private mode. You can block users, I'm sure all of you know that. And you can keep your location private. This is also super, super, super important, geotagging. So a lot of people are posting, right, geotagging that they're at home and then they're on vacation with their family somewhere, Greece, Thailand, wherever, somewhere cool and fun and beautiful. But what that does is it sends out sort of an alert to people who don't necessarily have the best intentions. Let's say an example of a burglar. So somebody might know that you're at home because you're geotagging home with my friends, home watching a movie, and the week later you're geotagging that you're on vacation. Pretty clear, right? You're not at home anymore. So somebody can know where you were, when you were in that place, and it's really important to make sure that either the geotagging is off, or if you really, really want to geotag something, that it's vague. Don't put your address. Don't put exactly where you are at that right time, because there are people that can see these things and essentially use that information in a way that could hurt us, hurt our families, hurt our friends, and it's very important to remember this little point. And of course, if you're all sharing and connecting from Instagram to Facebook or any other social media, just remember that it's kind of multiplying all of your shares all over the place. So if it's a picture you don't want people to see, just give it a little extra thought. So there's also a really, really, really big discussion these days for students in middle school and high school about messaging. Everybody here is probably communicating with their friends through text, through WhatsApp, through Telegram, through whatever, also Snapchat, whatever it is. No, maybe not? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, shh. Let's be quiet for just a few more minutes. What's really important to remember in messaging is that situations can get out of hand really, really quickly. What happens in messaging is the same thing that happens when we're all in a group, right? So if there's a group of people, 10 very close friends together, and they start saying something about someone else that's negative, that's mean. Maybe this person in my class smells really bad, or I don't like their style, or what is that hoodie that they're wearing? Something that could be not so nice to hear, right? Now what happens when that's in a group is that people speaking about another person or about something that they want to be speaking about and it's negative, it's called cyberbullying. When you invite somebody else into the group, or if somebody else sees that group and they see that somebody's saying really mean stuff about them, it sort of multiplies the effect of even potentially one person saying something mean about them, even if not everybody in the group is talking about this topic. So the whole group, let's say, is silent and not really saying too much, and one person is saying really mean things or really hurtful things, and the person they're saying those hurtful things about is exposed to that group. It's as if that feeling is like everybody else is saying the same thing. So when we're a part of these groups, it's really important to remember that what we're doing and what we're saying can deeply, deeply affect the person that we're saying things about. And I'm sure that all of you in this room want and are good people and care about your friends and really don't want to be the kind of person that maybe something bad is said about you, and the same way you don't want something bad said about you, we don't want to say bad things about other people. And if you're a part of this group, you have to remember, just like there's a group here, that really good things can happen in groups, right? So we can make awesome videos together, we can work on our studies together, we can talk to all of our friends. But when it's part of a group and somebody is saying something negative or mean, it's really easy for that to escalate. So it's okay for you, if you're part of one of these groups and you see something not so cool happening, first of all, you can leave the group and say, guys, you know, I don't want to be a part of this. And you can also step up in the group and say, listen, you know, what you're saying, I don't really think it's so nice. I don't really think that we should be talking like this. I don't think that we really should be saying things like this about our friend, about our classmate, about whomever. And others in the group, it's sort of this group effect, will start backing you up. People will realize, you know what? They're right. It's not good. It's not cool to say something like this about somebody else. And it's a really, really important topic. I know it might sound like something that's just an aside, but cyberbullying is very, very serious, and it's something that we all have to remember that we don't want to be a part of because it can really injure somebody else. So what we do want to do is share things that we're proud of, share things that we're comfortable with anybody seeing. I'm just going to go through this quickly because we don't have too much time. But one thing to remember is that when you're sending messages also through WhatsApp, even if you delete the WhatsApp group or if you delete yourself from the group, other people still have that information. So they still have the pictures you sent, they still have the messages that you sent. Sometimes it's automatically downloaded onto somebody's phone. So again, with the messaging also, we really want to give it a second thought before we send any kind of information. Another really huge thing here in internet is gaming. Now, I'm just going to talk about one little part of gaming right now. Which is gaming as a group, right? So oftentimes we can create a group in any kind of game, in a lot of games, and we're chatting with people in our group. And sometimes these groups are our friends who we know, who we go to school with, who we've met in the past, but sometimes the groups are with people who we've absolutely never met, sort of a virtual internet group member. Now when that happens, when we're playing a game with a group and maybe one or two of the members of the group are people we've never met before, we have to always remember that there's someone on the other side of that screen who may not be who they say they are. Now, these cases have happened time and time again, most often with the middle schooler age, which I know many of you are. So there's someone on the other side of this game who says they're in middle school and they're playing with you, but actually maybe that person is a 40-year-old person sitting in their basement and just wanting to play with some middle schoolers. Maybe, okay? Shh. So this case has happened. It's happened in Israel, it's happened in Europe, it's happened in the US, it's happened all over the world. What's important to remember is when somebody is talking to you in one of your games and they might ask you for information, like a picture, like where do you live? It's okay, and I personally recommend not to send them this kind of information. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't really feel comfortable sending that. You know what, I don't really want to talk about these things that are private about my life. Because many times those people who we all think are other middle schoolers in other parts of the world, they might actually be someone with not very good intentions, and they're trying to find out way too many private things about us. So it's really okay. First of all, you can keep playing the game. You can enjoy whatever it is that you're doing online in your virtual world, but it's okay to say, I don't really want to share that. I don't want to tell you where I live. And if someone is bothering you, please speak to your teachers, speak to your parents. They can help you with this, okay? So it's really important to remember, because these cases happen all the time. And I know it's something that might seem like, it's not going to happen to me. I don't know. I just play with my friends. That's when things like this sort of give us a little alert in the back of our head, okay? So we just have to remember, if there's someone we met online, it's really recommended not to share this kind of information with them. Now, another major thing that happens is stolen phones. And I just have a few minutes here, so we'll end with this, is phones get stolen, phones get lost. My phone was stolen 2 months ago. It was terrible because I had all my pictures and everything backed up there. And what happened was that, first of all, I said, oh, thank goodness I had a lock on my phone. We recommend that everybody here locks their phones and has a code. And also, you can choose not to share that code with your friends or with people who ask. So if somebody says, hey, share your code with me, I'm your friend, that code can be open, and then someone will share your phone with somebody else and maybe post a picture or a status or something that you aren't okay with. Same goes for our computers, right, our laptops. So it's really, really important to have a code and keep it safe. And remember that everything that's in our phone is like it's us. So if somebody's uploading from our phone or from our computer, it's already open in all of our social channels and all of our apps. So it's very, very easy for someone to do something and pose as we are. First of all, we don't recommend doing that. It's really not nice to do that to somebody else. But from your own sake, to keep yourself protected, keep that phone on lock. And remember that if your phone gets stolen, this is real life. This happened to me a few months ago. If your phone gets stolen, there's a chance that it might have gotten stolen by a hacker. So my phone got stolen by a hacker. True story. Then I got this message on the left-hand side a few months later after I got a new phone. Thank goodness. And somebody was messaging me saying my iPhone 6 has been found. But something seemed a little weird here. So do you guys see how it says www.iCloudAlert with a capital I? That's not how it should be spelled. It should be a lowercase I. So I said to myself, okay, this seems pretty fishy. I'm not going to click on it. Then I got an email here on the right-hand side into my email saying that the iPhone 6 was found again. But on the very bottom of the email, it didn't say Cupertino, California, which is where it should be from. It had a totally different address. So I realized that what was happening is that someone who stole my phone waited a little bit of time, found my Apple ID, which was in my phone. The same also goes for Android phones. There are still accounts like this. And they were trying to steal my identity. This is what was happening here. So it's very important, if you lose your phone, if your phone gets stolen, just beware that if you start getting messages later down the line, and share this with your parents too, that that person could be just trying to take all your login information, all your screen names, all of your handles, everything that's already stored exactly in your phone. And if I were to click on this and put in my Apple ID, they would have had everything. Everything. So it's very, very important. If your phone gets stolen, first of all, keep your phones locked. Second of all, if you get these kinds of weird messages, you are all pretty smart in this room. I've gotten some feedback about that. So everybody here is smart, is intelligent. You guys are born in the digital age. You guys totally have the ability to know when somebody is trying to hack into your information. So remember, if you get something that seems a little weird or funny, don't click on it right away. Check it out. See if something seems a little weird or fishy here. And with that in mind, we're just going to close with some privacy settings. So a really, really good idea to create a great password is to include different kinds of like asterisks and question marks and exclamation points and things that aren't actually words, because it's very, very, very hard for a potential hacker to figure out those kinds of symbols. So if you want to do something with the word, let's say, pirate, instead of the letter I, put an exclamation point, and the E, do an @ symbol or something like that. So these make all of our passwords much, much stronger. And also it's really important for the high schoolers too, because when you're going to be buying things with credit cards or paying for anything online, it's super, super important that your information is kept locked in a very secure way. So I'm just going to end with the fact that if something is bothering you, if someone is bothering you, if you see a situation online that seems like it really is making somebody uncomfortable, whether it's yourself or whether it's a friend, it's perfectly okay to speak with somebody about it, to speak with a teacher, to speak with a parent. And you don't have to take this in as something that you have to deal with yourself, because there are plenty of people that can help you deal with all of these different situations. And enjoy all of these apps and keep having fun. Thank you.